Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, the distinguished and the excellency of Mr. Ambassador, the representative of Republic of Iran and Russian Federation, and Mas Ma'arif, Ph.D. Without further ado, I just have a little opening speeches with just a small reflections to what Pak Rector have previously said. The world is obviously experiencing progressions towards a more multipolar world, which translates into a shift of paradigm of what we see and what we think as a correct, what is the universal truth, or what is the universal law of all mankind around the world. A shift against the grain, a shift that will represent all of us. A movement against the world big bad wolf. Have you ever heard a fable called Red Riding Hood? So this fable character is interchangeable with the term Western liberal order in our current geopolitical script, which has been famously coined by another IR scholar, and his name is John Mersheimer. This excessive length of the Capitol Hill Monroe's doctrine, ever since 2014, is also heavily criticized and is bound to fail because of its overarching laws and whatnot. And we have witnessed all of these many lengths of assertiveness from the South America into the Gulf and from the Europe into the Taiwanese water. So that's why today I'm calling everyone in this room, because this is the perfect time to settle with everything, to evening the odds. So today we are welcoming, first of all, the Excellency of Mr. Ambassador Mohammad Boroujerdi as the official representative of the Islamic Republic of Iran to Indonesia as our first speaker of the day. We are also welcoming the Excellencies Mr. Ambassador Sergei as the official representative of Russian Federation to Indonesia as our second speaker of the day. And the last but not least, we are also expressing many gratitude for the presence of Mr. Ma'arif Ph.D., as he will also profess his view towards what is the philosophical foundation of a multipolar world. So let's hear and explore, yeah? Everyone, I'm calling everyone to explore, hear these distinct views, which usually unheard and unseen and often antagonized. Let's collectively contemplate the other narration that has been systemized to be left. Let's rewrite our own time of the big bad wolf. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's invite our first speaker of the day, the Excellency, Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi, to the stage.
No, that's fine.
45 minutes.
It's a long time. Yeah,
You can finish it.
Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. First of all, I respect to my dear friend, His Excellency Ambassador Sergei, the Ambassador of the Federation of Russia, and Professor Ma'arif and Professor Mohammad Ghafoor, all the distinguished professors and researchers that are present here, all the students, and distinguished guests. Again, Assalamu alaikum jami'an wa rahmatullah. I am so happy that I am invited in this great presentation and ceremony that we have here. Actually, before I start, I just wanted to tell you that I believe that the world, and especially in Indonesia, is suffering from lack of research and reading and writing about what is happening in the contemporary world. I believe that we are not giving enough information to our governments. I'm not talking only about Indonesia. I believe that the governments are hungry for more information and for more research and results. Beside Indonesia or Iran or Russia, many of the countries now are suffering from lack of the good research to know what is happening, to have a good stand. Because what is going on, the war is going on, everything is going very rapidly and very fast. And if we don't decide now, maybe we will be losing a lot of interest in the future. That's what we are facing, we are witnessing for the most of the countries of the world right now. Because now is the time that you decide which side you are, and you decide in the future of the globe what kind of power you are going to have, what kind of country you are going to have. World after this war is not going to be a unipolar world anymore. Everybody knows that the more superpowers and more middle powers are going to rise. So did we decide correctly what we are going to be in the near future? If we don't, we are in the lack of the research and lack of the information and lack of the knowledge about that. So we are going to stay behind. That's the reality of the world. And in the world that is going to be shaped after this war, we don't have any share. So I start with this war as a diplomat point of view. I am not a researcher, I am not a professor here in Indonesia. Of course, I study in my country, but here I just have my information as a diplomat that I'm coming to share with you. How did this war started? And as you have in your questions, what changes this war is going to make in the world? How is the shape of the new world after this war? We must think about that. If we think correctly, if we research correctly, and if we have correct result about that, we can be able to form our own situation in the future world. So that's what is happening. This war did not start 40 days ago, 50 days ago, or even 2 years ago. This war is being prepared from many years ago. You know that the Zionist regime of Israel and also the United States, they both told that they have been prepared for this war from many years ago. So what was the preparation for this war? First of all, I tell you that they had some programs in the field of the intelligence, in the field of the military, even economy, even social media, and go on and go on and go on. First of all, ongoing propaganda that lasts for many years tried to give a face of, a false face of the Islamic Republic of Iran to the world. I tell you, I swear to God, that none of us, none of you know Iran beside the people who actually went Iran and saw how is going on in Iran. You listen to the propaganda that Donald Trump makes with his speeches. Tells about the people that are falling from the roof. People are being executed every day. People are being punished because of their clothes or something like that. But the people who know Iran, who have been in Iran, know that now they know that it's not Iran. Even in the movies that they make, some people ask me, do you have camels in the street? I answer them, I am a 60 years old Iranian person that I have never seen a camel from, close distance so far. Do you have universities in your country? Where did you study? Where did you take your Ph.D? And they ask this question, the people, because the propaganda is so high, it's going on for more than 40 years, that makes Iran a, third world, some kind of dictatorship that does not let people have their own jobs, their own religion, their own. But now, what is going, the first impact of the war is, the people are knowing the real Iran. People did not know that we have the minorities, the religious minorities in Iran before. Now everybody knows that the biggest, even Jew community are living in Iran, the biggest community in the Middle East, in the Western Asia. And they have their ceremonies, they have their churches, they have their own marriages, their own activities, religious activities. They have their MPs in the parliament. False information about Shia, false information about Sunnis, false information about Christians, Zoroastrians, Jews, and everything. That when I hear, I'm really shocked. Some people came to me previously, because maybe some of you know that I'm working for Iran-Indonesia relation around 30 years. I have been in Indonesia 25 years ago as the junior diplomat in the embassy. Now it's less than before, because people they have more knowledge. But previously they came to me and told me, okay, do you have second Quran? Please show me your second Quran. I had to explain to everybody that we don't have second Quran. We read the same Quran that you do. And I had to go to Iran, and I bought 5,000 Quran printed in Iran and took them here in Indonesia. And everybody asked me about our second Quran. I gave one to them and told them, okay, this is our Quran, please read that. And if you find any difference, just tell me, please. This is not our fault. This is the propaganda that is going on for the preparation of a big war. When they kill people in Iran, they say, okay, they are Shia, and Shia are kafir, so no problem, they can kill them. But you can see, from the beginning of this war, the United States of America and the Zionist regime of Israel has committed all the crimes, all the war crimes that the human has known from the First World War in the world. You name them. I give prize to the person, I really give a prize to a person who show me one war crime that is mentioned in the international law that these criminals has not committed in Iran during this 39 days war. Attacking itself is a war crime, It's against the the United Nations Charter, Article 2. No country is allowed to attack other countries with no excuse, no reason. Secondly, at the first day of the war, on 28 February, they attacked two targets. One of them was the 86 years old Iranian supreme leader. As a supreme leader, it's a war crime to kill the other countries', leaders. As a, ulama, it's a crime. Nobody is allowed to attack ulama during the war. For my Russian friends, I say ulama means the scholars, intellectual leaders. That is in Indonesian language, we call that ulama. And second target was an elementary school with 168 small children were killed. 175 people were killed, that 168 of them were elementary children. That's a war crime. And they attacked that with 2 Tomahawk missiles that they were originated from one of the neighboring countries, the United States base in the neighboring countries. And after that, they committed the other crimes. They attacked mosques. Everybody, even during the war, is not allowed to attack mosques. Because masjid is forbidden to be attacked. They have destroyed more than 168 mosques. It is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 to say it was a mistake. You can see that it has been planned to attack them. Hospitals, schools, universities, ordinary people, civilians, women, children, environment, infrastructures, media, churches. They have attacked the churches and they destroyed some of the churches in Iran. Some of them belong to many hundreds years ago. And even they have attacked we call it the holy place for the Jews. I don't know the English word. What's the English word? We call it Kenisa. I don't know what is the English word for the church for the Jew people. So, Kenisa, yeah? Yeah, Kenisa. We call it, even they have attacked Kenisa. And during the murder, during the casualties, you can find all kinds of people. No problem what is the ages, what is the job, what is the religion. You can find Shia, you can find Sunni, you can find even Christians. So, if you go back to the 39 days war, you can see that it has been planned to attack some kind of civilization. It's not an ordinary war that usually happens. It's not a, war in other countries like Iraq or like. It's an attack against a civilization, and they have confessed for that. The United States president told that we are going to destroy this civilization. And this is the first time in the history, you read the history, you can see that everybody that committed in war crimes in any country, they just try to deny that, they try to hide that. For example, in, Yugoslavia, in Bosnia, Herzegovina, you can see there happened some war crimes. But the person who was committed in that crime denied that, tried to hide, tried to escape. But in this time, They told that we have attacked the school and we have killed 168 elementary girls with proud. And they told in advance that we are going to attack the infrastructures in 2 days, in 48 hours. We are going to destroy the civilization next week. And this is what is changing in the world. Because the base of the world is not justice. The base of the world is not humanitarians. The base of the world now is the power. When they attacked Iran, the United Nations Security Council rejected to condemn the attack, which was against the United Nations Charter. They attacked from the United States bases in the region. You know, there were 17 bases in the region, in 13 countries around Iran. And the United States mainland is so far from Iran, so we could not reach that. They attacked us from the bases around us. And when they attacked us on 28 February, we just went to the Security Council to, just open a case. But they rejected to condemn that. We attacked back in the United States bases in the region, in some other countries in the region. What happened? They went to the United Nations Security Council, and United Nations Security Council condemned Iran because of defending itself, that has been mentioned legal in the United Nations Charter. That's the out of our situation, our current world. And if we don't understand what is going on, we don't have any place in the future world. I tell you, as Iran, as Malaysia, as Indonesia, as Russia, as United Kingdom, I don't know, any country, India, that they don't have a clear picture from what is going on in the world, in the current world, they have no place in the future world. Because they don't understand that the base of the international relation is not justice, is not law, is not regulations, is not the United Nations, is not the international organizations. It's power. It's power, power, and power. And if we did not realize that a few years ago, according to the Iran martyred supreme leader, we have been destroyed. We have been 100% destroyed in this time. Because you know that we are facing, we have been attacked by 2 nuclear powers of the world. United States has been the only superpower of the world for a long time. And now is the time of the rising of the new middle powers. This war, one of the things that this war showed us is the superpower cannot defeat the middle powers because they have the elements of the power with them. What are these elements? First, maybe we must be silent for just a few minutes for the national anthem of the Indonesia. Yes.
We kindly invite the audience to stand up for the national anthem of Indonesia Raya. Thank Thank you. Please be seated.
Thank you very much. It's a very good, regulation that at 10 o'clock in all Indonesian offices, you have the national anthem of Indonesian Raya. I was telling about the current situation in the world and the preparation that they made for this war, and what are the elements of the power that makes you to tolerant in the face of a superpower of the world. One of the big questions is who won this war? Who won this war? I believe that there is no winner for any war. I believe that. But I tell you, military people tell, if you have some targets and you go for them, it differs. You are in the position of a country who defends itself, or in the position of another country who offends. Offensive and defensive are different just approach of the winning of the war. For example, I mean the definition of winning is different, which side you are. For a country that is attacking, if they don't reach their goals, they are defeated. For the country that is being attacked, if they can resist, if they cannot be defeated, if they manage not to be defeated, they will be win. So, in this situation, the main goal of the United States and the Zionist regime of Israel was to topple the government of Iran in 2 or 3 days. They told that we are going to Iran. We just bombard some of the police stations, some of the Basij stations. We call the voluntary people that come to defend the country the Basij. We bombard the military bases, and after that the people come to the street, and after they come to the street, they will topple the government, and we have the regime change, and everything is done in 2 or 3 days. They did that. For a long time, they have injected a lot of spies inside the Iranian system because of the situation. You know that we are suffering from the illegal migrants that they have been in Iran for many years. Maybe between 7 to 9 million people that are in Iran as migrants, refugees. So they defined, they planned all the bases, and after that they attacked them, and after that they were expecting people to come to the street. People came to the street, but not for toppling the government, to support the government. That's what was happened. That was the main source of the Iranian power against the Zionist regime of Israel and the United States of America. And you know, they tested several times. From the beginning, they killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in Iraq to see what happens. If Iran tolerates, if Iran makes it silent, if Iran suffers that and tells nothing, so they are going for the next step. But Iran did not that. At the same time, Iran attacked the bases of United States in Iraq. Several times they have tried that. And after that, they tried to make some economic problem in Iran, that they did that. They made the depreciation of the Iranian currency, and after that, the people were so, unsatisfied with the situation, and they came to a street for the protest. And after they came to the street for the protest, they tried to make it some kind of riots with the spies and everything. But this time also people came to the street and just make the order back to the streets. And after all kind of plans that they had to topple the government in Iran and change the regime in Iran and something like that, after that they had this war. We call it Ramadan war because it happened in the Ramadan month. So this war was a complicated war that the espionage, the military, and all the aspects of the attack were together to attack Iran. But this time what happened, and at the day first, they killed the Iranian supreme leader. So it was supposed to something to happen. But Iran was prepared. I'm not going to talk a lot, and as I told you, as a diplomat, I just defined how is the situation in Iran right now. Now we are in some kind of ceasefire, because you know that we don't recognize the Zionist regime of Israel, and we don't talk to them, so we talk with the United States, and they have accepted that they are not in the position to dictate the negotiation anymore, and they are going to accept some rights of Iran. And next round of the negotiation is going to happen maybe in the coming days. But in this situation, I tell you, we are prepared, we don't trust them, but they are not in the position to attack again, because they have tried once and they asked for the ceasefire. This is what happened. They were supposed to topple the government in 2 days, 3 days, but after 39 days, they asked for the ceasefire. I just, as a conclusion, I just wanted to tell you that this war, it's not because I am from Iran. Maybe all the professors that they have in the major of the international relations know that a little bit different with the other wars that happened in the world. Because this wars had affected all the countries in the world and all the regions, not only because of the energy, but also because of the security, as well as the balance of the power. So it must be maybe, instead of 3 questions, must be maybe 20, 30 questions that we must answer to know clearly what is going on in the region and what is going how is going to be shaped in the near future. That's what I invite everybody to work on it, and that's what I invite you to, as the academic system of Indonesia, to grant, to present to the people, to know how is the situation, as well as the government, to have a clear image of the situation that we have in the region and what we will have in the near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your presence, ultimately for your information, your view concerning this conflict. I have a short summary of what you have aforementioned for your previously asked stated. I think the Excellencies, Mr. Ambassador, is trying to emphasize more or stresses more on the literacy of the global public, because this is not only a war of logistics, not only a war of military engagement and operations, it also consists of informations. And to have the share of the new world, we need to have our own, which can be done by assessing our own informations and view. Thank you very much for your input, Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi. For the second segment, we would like to invite the Excellencies, Mr. Sergei Tolchanov, the representations and the official representative of Russian Federations. We would like to invite you for a 25 minutes to 35 minutes panel. Mr. Sergei, without further ado, time is yours.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A very good morning to everyone. Excellency, Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi, Ambassador of Iran, and Mr. Maruf, dear colleagues, experts, students. Well, first of all, I agree with my colleague, Ambassador of Iran, that maybe one of the biggest challenge of the modern world, and here also in Indonesia, in Jakarta, this is a lack of information and lack of balanced information. Because when me and Mr. Mohammad, we are reading, for example, local newspapers, watching TV, the information about the situation in the world in general and in Middle East and around Persian Gulf is coming from only Western sources. And what we need and what we would like to maybe to do today here in UPN Veteran Jakarta, to bring more balanced information, to let you see the situation in the world from different angles. Yes, in recent months, the situation in the Middle East has taken on an extremely acute and dangerous character. The current development of this part of the world have a direct impact not only on regional issues, but on global security, stability of the world and global economy, and the overall state of international relations. Today we are witness a new stage of escalation in the Middle East, characterized by rising military political tensions and expansion of scale of conflict and erosion of international deterrence mechanisms. The central element of these developments has been the aggressive policy pursued by United States and Israel toward Iran, manifested in a series of forceful actions carried out against the international law. And about position of my country, of the Russian Federation, I would like to stress that from the very beginning, we called those attacks of the United States and Israel against Iran an aggression. What, by the way, has not been mentioned here in Indonesia. You can read in the newspapers, conflict in Middle East, conflict in Persian Gulf, but nobody called it aggression, but it is. The Russian Federation consistently expressed that such actions lack legitimate grounds and lead to further destabilization of the situation in the global scale. The point is that the UN Charter has been repeatedly disregarded, as well as the principle of sovereignty and non-interference in internal affairs of sovereign states. Such actions have no justification, whatever it lead to, and it is lead to general escalations, the consequences of which may extend beyond the region of the Middle East. These words fully reflect Russian assessment on the current developments in the Middle East. Let's just contemplate some causes of this crisis. First, attention should be drawn to the strategy of the United States in the region, which in the recent years has taken on distinctly force-based and unilateral character. It is aimed at the preserving dominance, containing alternative center of power, and controlling key energy and transport roads. Diplomatic instruments, meanwhile, have been pushed into the background. Israel's actions should be viewed in the same vein, which, with the US support, is pursuing a policy of preemptive suppression of Iran potentials. Strikes on facilities located within the territory of sovereign states cannot be regarded as anything other than violation of fundamental principles of international law. Such practices create a dangerous precedent and undermine regional stability. Iran, for its part, acts as an independent and influential regional player with significant political and military potential. Increasing pressure on Tehran, including sanctions and military measures, objectively leads not to a reduction of tensions, but heightening security concerns and consecutively to the strengthening of its defensive capabilities. It is also necessary to highlight the erosion of legal framework that previously served as an important stabilization factor. This primarily concerns the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action of Iran nuclear program. The US withdrawal from this agreement became a turning point, after which the situation began to deteriorate very rapidly. In effect, one of the key mechanisms for preventing nuclear proliferation has been undermined. At present, a number of alarming trends can be observed. First of all, the main one among them is rise of military activities with a growing number of strikes and the expansion of the conflict's geographic scope. The process creates a real risk to uncontrolled escalation. And from the Russian side, we stressed many times that the civilian objects should not be goals of military strikes in any country. And of particular concern is the potential of disruption of strategically important transportation arteries, including the Straits of Hormuz, which could have some serious consequences for the global energy markets. The humanitarian dimension of the situation must also be taken into account. Any escalation inevitably leads to an increase of civilian casualties, destruction of infrastructure, and growing refugees flows. These consequences extend far beyond the region and impact the global humanitarian situation as a whole. For example, among the consequences are the damage sustained by the countries of the Arabian Peninsula, as well as military activities in the Lebanon-Israeli border area and missiles and airstrikes on Lebanon that lead to the death of 3 Indonesian military personnel that play the role of peacekeeping and participated in peacekeeping mission in Lebanon, and left 5 more individuals wounded. These tragic episodes, regrettably, but not isolated, and it's continue a series of deliberated attacks and assaults on the facilities of peacekeeping mission in Lebanon. Under these conditions, the position of the Russian Federation remains consistent and principled. Russia advocates for a political and diplomatic settlement of the crisis and categorically rejects the use of force in addressing international problems. As President Vladimir Putin has emphasized, the use of force without an appropriate international legal basis undermines the entire system of global security. This assessment reflects not only Russia's approach, but also the objective reality of the modern world. Russia calls on all parties to exercise restraint, refrain from provocative actions, and move forward dialogue. Particular importance is attached to the restoration of negotiation mechanism and the return to implementation of previously reached agreements, including the Iranian nuclear deal. We proceed from the point of view that sustainable settlement is possible only if legitimate interests of all parties involved are taken into account. At the same time, the role of international institutions, primarily the United Nations and its Security Council, is also of fundamental importance. They must remain a central mechanism for ensuring international peace and security. Substituting this institution with unilateral actions leads to the destruction of entire system of international relations. It should be emphasized that development in the Middle East are not an isolated phenomenon. They are closely linked to broader process of global politics, including intensifying competition among states, attempts to preserve a unipolar world order, and resistance to emerge of more just and multipolar system of international relations. Escalation in the Middle East has a direct impact on the global economy, including fluctuations in the energy markets, disruption of logistic chains, and increased uncertainty in financial markets. More broadly, we observe a trend forward fragmentation of the international system, weakening of universal norms, and increase of number of regional conflicts. In this regard, it is essential to take into account that, as emphasized in recent statements of the Russian Federation, the Palestinian issue also should remain a central element of Middle East settlement and must not become a hostage of the current military political situation in the Middle East. Marginalizing this issue can inevitably lead to recurring cycle of violence and further destabilization of the region with global repercussions. It is also noted that amid the escalation around Iran and other hotspots in the Middle East, there is effectively a pause in peace efforts on the Palestinian track, accompanied by ongoing violations of ceasefire regimes and worsening humanitarian situation. Under these conditions, the task is resuming full-fledged international cooperation with the key role of the states of the region become particularly urgent, and thus a return to the international legal framework for settlements, which provide for the creation of independent Palestinian state, coexisting in peace and security with Israel. In conclusion, I would like to emphasize that the situation in the Middle East demonstrates not only the consequences of force-based policies and disregard for international law, but also the danger for substituting fundamental settlement objective with short-term opportunistic approaches. The action of the United States and Israel against Iran, as well as attempts to sideline the key issues of regional settlement, including the Palestinian track, only exacerbate this crisis and create conditions for its further deepening. Russia welcomed the achievement of an agreement of ceasefire and cessation of hostilities between the United States and Iran. From the very first day of this war in the Middle East, unleashed by the US and Israel, Russia has advocated a ceasefire and resumption of political dialogue and diplomatic efforts to settle the conflict. We have worked consistently and persistently in this direction, including on the platform of the UN Security Council, while maintaining close coordination with other responsible members of the international community. Particular recognition is undoubtedly should be paid to mediating role of Pakistan. As President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin has stated, the world must be built on the basis of equality and respect for the interests of all states, not only the dictates of force. Under current conditions, it is critically important not only to achieve de-escalation, but also to ensure a comprehensive approach to settlement based on international law, collective efforts, and recognition of the central role of the United Nations. Only in this way can conditions be created for long-term stabilization in the Middle East and strengthening of international security all around the world. Terima kasih banyak, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your statement, The Excellency Mr. Sergei Tolchinov, the representative of Russian Federation. The main summary that I can write upon his view towards the multipolar world that is going to emerge in the future is we still need norms of multilateral interaction between other states or other international actors, since unilateralist or isolationist movement tends to create another hegemon or the big bad wolf in the system. We should see the United Nations as one of the holding system, the international law that keep us in check, whether we decide to be in full agreement or not. So thank you so much for your time, Mr. Ambassador. The last but not least, we would like to also invite Mr. Ma'arif, Ph.D. as a practitioner and an expert in this matter. Especially, he will also share his view towards the philosophical foundation of a multipolar world. So without further ado, Mas Ma'arif, the stage is yours, Mas.
Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, the moderator, Mas Ghafur, Your Excellency, Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi, as the ambassador of Islamic Iran. And also, Your Excellency, Mr. Sergei, nice to meet you. And dear guests, especially for my friend, Dr. Asep Kamaluddin, and also Dr. Nyoman. And dear student, I would like to present you three presentation first video, and in the middle of the presentation I would like to share my view, and the last I will give you a presentation in the video too. The first video portray the current situation during Iran war right now. Please play.
Our inbox is flooded with Americans saying they don't watch the news, they listen to our songs instead, since your media is full of shit. Let's keep it 100 and talk reality. 5,000 years of Persian soul, of poetry and light. You sold nuclear threat to every camera in sight, but our leader said nukes are haram. I record clear, the real atomic arsenal, Tel Aviv, my dear. The IAEA in the building, they've been watching the file. Israel's undeclared warheads stacked up mile by mile. You weaponized the fear of Iran to fund the machine, while AIPAC lobbied Congress and pocketed your team, while soldiers bleed for Bibi's dream. Your son-in-law cashed $2 billion from the Saudi regime, Kushner. Your lobby chain is tight as choking out the globe, while your son is trading stocks inside his velvet robe. Baron. Wake up, America, open your eyes to the devil's design. Epstein, pedophile ruler, sacrificing for Israel's line. Wake up, America, open your eyes to the devil's design. The world's watching your move. Don't feed the swine. Epstein's Island, 40 plus flights on the log. You the main character, Jeffrey was just a prologue. You act like a savior, but you're leaving bodies cold. How many nations have you broken? How many lies have you sold? Vietnam, Japan, Korea, Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Panama, Syria, Germany, Serbia, Indonesia, Cuba, Sudan, Pakistan, Egypt, Jordan, Palestine, Lebanon, Yemen. We're bringing you freedom, bro. They never asked for that. Retribution is coming with a storm you can't tame. Iran doesn't forget, and we're coming for the game. Spoiler alert, Israel's final war, it's against y'all. Take it seriously before it's too late. They're just using you for now. Wanna see the real truth? Watch how they talk on Jesus. Don't say I didn't warn you.
Oke, kita kasih aplaus ya buat seniman Iran nih. The second video is tell about the whole story of war between US Iran versus Israel. US Israel versus Iran. Okay, thank you very much. Oh, very simple, yeah. I think to His Excellency from Russia Federation and Islamic Republic of Iran, just two video portray and give example for this current situation. The first video is the current situation, and the last video is telling the history of war. So this war, right, not only this war, start from 28 February, but starting from the Persian era until Islamic Republic of Iran. That's the lesson. And I would like to give a little my opinion about the future of multipolarity and conflict in the Middle East. Okay, why we should put on Iran war as very important war. Okay, many wars that Persian begin, but this war is what's called final war. Why? Because Sayyid Ali Khamenei said that this is total war. What is the meaning total war? So total war for international relations studies is the Islamic Iran Federation formal policy. And we ask Russia Federation, what is the international relation policy? What is the policy? I ask you, what is the latest information? Can you answer? Okay, I will tell first. Yeah, Iran war is very important because it is the heart of war. Not only war of Middle East, of a Gulf state, but across the globe. So it's called total war. And then second slide. Macet ya. Oh. This is my thesis. A victory of the Iran war against the US-Israel will determine the formation of the multipolar world in the revolutionary way, not in the reformation way. What we lesson today? Mr. Boroujerdi, I have to mention and I affirm that your war, your country war, the final war will determine formation of multipolar world. If Iran lose, so every civilization that commit the international law, commit to the UN nation, multiculturalism will getting point. Okay, that slide. Okay, what is the background of this conference? This background is the ideal multipolar order, one of the equality, sovereignty, mutual respect challenged by the war. So by the war is two dimensions. It is the opportunity, it is the catastrophe. I think from multipolar world, it is the opportunity. And for the unipolar war, which is United States and Israel, it is catastrophe. And we can see the catastrophe from the Hollywood style. Okay, the end of this war, not the catastrophe war. Yeah, I will tell you later. And then, terus, okay, sebelum itu, okay, this war is two dimensions. First, Greater Israel. It is the implementation of the Greater Israel, and the second one, it is the reviving of colonialism addressed by Mr. Rubio in Munich conference. That's very clear in if you are focusing on the narration, it is the clear day of the war. And then, next. So this conflict, this war is a planned conflict, not accidental. First, 70 years of occupation Palestine since 1948. And then the latest phase, kidnapping of Venezuela president, elected Maduro, Syrian regime change operation, Greenland annexation plan, assassination of Iranian leader, and Mina elementary school massacre, is the planned conflict. Jangan ditutup, Pak. Bisa dibaca yang setelahnya. Bukan. Yang tadi. Acceleration, sorry. A planned conflict. Okay, planned conflict. The acceleration of the doctrine monoplan with the greater Israel is one combination plan. Pure revival of colonialism, just like what I said before, Rubio's speech in Munich and statement by Mark Hagby, U.S. ambassador to Israel. And the next. Okay, I affirm again my thesis, the Iran regional war is a peak of unipolar collapse. This is a final war. The main root of the problem is racial superiority. Okay, let's say that this war is national interest. National interest. Russia Federation is national interest. Indonesia has national interest. And also Iran has national interest. United States has a national interest. Israel has national interest. What is the mean or what is the root of the problem of the war? The root of the war, if we put it on the philosophical background, it is a problem of racial superiority. Okay? Why Donald Trump and Netanyahu is so irrational? Because they think that they are superior to others. They are chosen people, whether they are a superiority in military term, economic term, technology term, that the superiority is the root problem. It is the nature of the problem. And the closing Strait Hormuz is response. Jadi kalau ada aliansi untuk membuka Selat Hormuz, to break the Strait Hormuz, it's not because of Iran. Iran only respond to the implementation of the greater Israel and military invasion to Iran. So, yang saya catat tadi bahwa ada dua ya, sovereignty dan self-defense. So why it's again United Nations chapter? Because it is military aggression to Iran, It is again sovereignty of other country. And then second one, masih pada dengar nggak nih? Kayaknya pada ngantuk ya. Oke, nanti saya lewatin, ini agak panjang. Terus mas. Multipolarity in the Middle East a conflict, Iran war. Iran regime change project as a golden opportunity, I affirm again, for the formation of extreme multipolarity. Why? Because we'll disclose a direct proxy between US, Israel, and Gulf State is the NATO Middle East. So the relation between United States and Gulf State is NATO military. So if we mentioning unipolarity, we have to mentioning NATO. It is central command. Central command determine value. Central command determine technology. Indonesia have to consume to buy military equipment from the United States. If Indonesia want to buy outside of the United States, Indonesia will be sanctioned. So military command is the key point. Second one, new transition alternative, finance, energy, military system. So this war, it is new transition alternative to the financial system, to the energy, to the military system. So according to me, Iran has a military system outside of the NATO. Of course, Russia has to, and of course, China has a military system too. And the other thing is, yuan payment promotion replace US petrodollar toward local financial payment system. So, Your Excellency, Mr. Sergei, this war will transform yuan payment promotion. So, if China have to pay to Iran yuan, it is yuan payment promotion replace US petrodollar toward local financial payment. So it's accelerated with the fission mission bridge. Another thing is accelerate opening the bridge corridor project. So all of the bridge corridor project will accelerate the final war. Terus mas, multipolarity and the Middle East conflict, Iran war. So beside beside a military attack, it's a trade war, it is root war. You can see why India now is like Indonesia non-bloc. Because India has interest to make balance, to make good relation with Israel, in the same time good relation with Iran. You can see in the left hand, it is called Ben Gurion project. And the right side, it is corridor project between Russia, Iran, and India. So this project, will be dismantled, maybe will be lose an opportunity to progress. I think so. Depend on the last war. Kalau Iran menang berarti proyeknya jalan, proyeknya Rusia jalan, dan proyeknya India juga jalan. Tapi kalau Iran kalah berarti proyeknya sudah membangun rel kereta api juga akan hilang. Tapi kalau Israel yang menang, otomatis route-nya akan bisa dilihat di sebelah kiri kalau dari sini ya. Oke. Terus Mas. Acceleration of bridge trade route. Bridge corridor focus on bypassing Western control maritime route, centering on the 2,200 km international north-south transport corridor from India to Russia for Iran, the China-Brazil transcontinental rail, Arctic Northern Sea route. Iran victory against NATO in the Middle East will accelerate to the project of INSTC program. And then unipolar world is old order. Jadi kalau ditanya, what is the unipolar world? Unipolar world is old order. One command control to the world, military, finance, trade, energy, and value system. NATO with the 800 military base. Israel project, revival colonialism before 1948, Monroe Doctrine, just like a couple months ago, universalization of Western value. Jadi ada universalisasi nilai. Kalau ngomong tentang demokrasi, we have to obey the democracy according to the West. If we advocate to the human right, we have to follow the value of human rights according to the West, etc., etc. And Greenland annexation plan. This is unipolar, very simple. And then multipolar is a new world order. So what we are talking right now, the future of multipolarity, has a principle. What is the principle of multipolarity? Multipolarity philosophical foundation international relation based on simple platform. All human are equal. Jadi kalau dikatakan apa masa depan multipolar, dia punya fondasi yang sangat sederhana. Setiap manusia itu adalah sama, simple. Berlawanan dengan unipolar, landasan filsafatnya apa? Hanya satu yang superior. Simple. Multipolar world is governed a system based on distribution of power among many poles. Jadi kalau unipolarity itu adalah satu polar, one command center. Tapi kalau multipolar, this is polar of Asia, Africa, America, Western Europe, Eurasia, Latin America, China, India, and Islamic world. Next, principle of multipolarity. This is I think the last presentation. First, this decision-making center should not rely on universal Western standard. I affirm again, norm and value, democracy, liberalism, free market, parliamentarism, human right, individualism, cosmopolitanism, distribution power, and decision. And second, independent of value, not necessarily following the West. I repeat again. And third, multipolarity does not imply to written bipolarity. Jadi kalau kita ngomongin multipolarity, selalu dihadap-hadapan, kita berarti ngeblok timur, enggak begitu. Multipolarity doesn't imply to written bipolarity. Jadi kalau Indonesia itu negara non-blok itu sudah enggak relevan. Karena itu zamannya Uni Soviet, ada bipolar. Ada Amerika, ada Uni Soviet. Setelah 1991, start from 1991, sudah tidak ada lagi yang namanya bipolar. It's not bipolar anymore, just unipolar. So multipolarity emerged from unipolar moment. Fourth, state sovereignty, combination sovereign aligned of each state aligned with the shared vision, equality and respect. And last, multipolarity can be reduced to multipolarism. Jadi bagi para pengkaji hubungan internasional, multipolarity is different with multikulturalisme ya, berbeda. Non-polarity politarianism, multilateralisme lah intinya, and can be complete independent of Western spiritual hegemony. So unipolarity is a kind of Western spirituality. We not necessary to follow the spirituality guided by the Western value. And then conclusion, this is my conclusion, Your Excellency. Number one, Iran war is a war of military, trade, financial system, energy, food, value, what govern and civilization. Not only dar ya, jadi perangnya tidak hanya bam-bum-bam, tapi all dimension we can put it on it. Second, Iran war is an acceleration of formation multipolar world that will affect all global issue. So we call it global justice. Jadi kalau ada perang Rusia dengan Ukraina, ada efek-efek dimensionnya. Juga perang Iran juga ada efek-efek dimensinya. Terakhir, victory in Iran war is war between right and wrong. Jadi nggak ada yang abu-abu. Siapa yang benar, siapa yang salah itu clear as the clear day. So this war is rational versus irrational. The law of the jungle versus international law. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Mr. Ma'ruf Ma'arif, for your statement and thesis. Now we can understand a little bit. Of course, we should meet up with Mr. Ma'arif for more hours in the future, to completely understand his thesis about this emergence of polarity of the world. But the main tenet, the center of gravity of his assumption is we can see Iran as the bulwark, as the spearhead of the emerging multipolar world. So we are hoping, Mr. Ambassador, and we are praying that the people of Iran can stay with their resilience, to emerge as a new strong international actors, that we can actually shed our own universal truth, a truth that is not only or ultimately monopolized by a single truth. For example, Mr. Ma'aruf have identified, let's say, human rights based on the Western human rights, forgetting the contextualized version of how society operates in their own region, for example. We are hoping the best for the people of Iran and its people and their people, and we are hoping to be or to share new places with them. But as what Your Excellency has spoken earlier, we need to open our eyes, our ears, and to think. Not to listen with our eyes, but our minds about the informations. Because it's not only about military, but sometimes our truth, the version of truth is shaped through informations. We need to see the non-mainstream sources. We need to go against the mainstream source of informations. I think that can summarize our session altogether. But before we close our segment, we're going to have a dialogue session. So we offer some times, some duration. I think we still have like a long session of discussion. I think we have 1 hour discussion. So I think we will limit the first 3 questions from the audiences. Please mention your name and your status, whether you are a student or coming from private sectors or media. Thank you so much. We can have 3 first questions. Okay. Can someone help me first? Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, moderators. First of all, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to His Excellencies, the Mr. Boroujerdi from Ambassadors Iran to Indonesia, and Excellency Mr. Tsenov from Russian to Indonesia. My name is Bambang Susanto. As academicians, actually, I would like to ask to both of Your Excellency. Now, we are facing or entering to the unlawful international relations conditions. So, quite some time unpredictability after President Trump took position as President of the United States. This is actually not war, in my opinion, but aggressions and genocide, American aggressions, and genocide Israel to Gaza and bombing to, or aggression to Lebanon to Israel. This situation is quite worries for international people or other countries because of if unlawful international conditions, easy to take everything. For example, Maduro's, or maybe, of course, the Ayatollah Khomeini killed by Americans. So we need to restore international structures, especially United Nations. If I refer to Indonesian foreign ministers, Ali Alatas, a long time ago, Indonesia have idea to restructuring of Security Council. Not only big power like Russians, American, British, France or China, but in several countries. For example, from the from Africans, for example, from Asia, others, and from Latin America. So to make balance, how to take vote in United Nations. And of course, Indonesia as the pretty active foreign policy also is really very worried about this situation because not only in the Middle East, actually this one, but will influence to international relations, not in a short time, but a long time. We hope, especially Russia, as the one of security member, permanent Security Council member, have support to Indonesian ideas long time already, actually. Can additional permanent member Security Council from the developing countries. And to Iran, Indonesia is really have best relation, diplomatic relation with Iran. If refer to 2013 or 14, at the time Minister of Foreign Affairs, Martina Nargawa, support Iran in international atomic energy in Vienna, that's right. Because Iran have right to have nuclear, not for weapon actually. But this is in American thinking to make worry also to some countries who have signing NPT. Because, for example, Indonesia also have right to what is it? To have a nuclear but not for weapons. So this is my opinion, and we hope that to Ambassador Russia can support Indonesian idea to restructuring in Security Council, not only 5 vetoes, for Ambassador of Iran, because we have good relations, not only G2G, but also people to people. Please allow the Indonesian vessel in Hormuz Strait to get back to Indonesia. So this is because we are quite suffered that when the vessel in Hormuz is not going back to Indonesia. So once again, good luck to committee, and we hope that Russia and Iran always close relations, not only G2G, maybe P2P and others relations. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pak Ban. Thank you for your opinion. I would like to say that I didn't know Minister Ali Alatas, but I respect him very much because he was the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia when I was a student at the university. And regarding, let's say, modernization or reformation of Security Council, of UN Security Council, well, also sorry to say, it's not only Indonesian point of view. This is, I believe, global point of view. All of quite many countries believe that it should be modernized, and we need a reform of, well, in general, of the UN system, and maybe even bring it back to its roots when it was established in 1945 after the World War II. And completely agree, and we support this idea that the voice of what we call sometimes global South, global East, it should be heard much clearly, and it should be spoken much loudly. And that's why we completely agree that, first of all, maybe it should be expanded. I mean, the formation of the Security Council of the United Nations, and we need to have there more representative from Africa, Asia, Latin America. But you know, should be result not just of some slogans, some declarations, but it should be discussed during G2G negotiations in the framework of UN to find a comprehensive solution for this issue. For example, I believe so you know, quite many countries pretended to be members of EU and even permanent members of United Nations, countries like, and we believe it could be strong candidates, those countries like India, for example, Brazil, maybe South Africa, who represent global South. But there are also some other pretenders like Germany, for example, or Japan. Well, taking into account the results of the World War II and who was initiator of this global war, we believe so some countries cannot pretend to be permanent members in the United Nations. So it should be very carefully discussed and should be very carefully shaped, the composition of Security Council. But I completely agree that, and this is the position of my country, that the voice of Global South should be much more important in the UN. And we should also, but also another one issue you have mentioned, the right of veto. This is also a result of the Second World War, because only, let's say, those who contributed more in the victory against German Nazism and Japanese militarism have such right, only 5 countries. But this is still very important, because otherwise it will be not possible to take balanced decisions in the UN Security Council. Because, you know, so Western countries, it's much more numerous. And if it will be just simple vote, the developing countries will lose. For example, just when if we will come back to situation in the Persian Gulf and Middle East, recently only Russia and China voted against a resolution of Bahrain regarding the situation in Persian Gulf, because it was not balanced. Without this veto, it will be not possible to constrain such decisions. And sometimes it's also a problem Yes, we are living in a democratic world, so every country has its position, has its ideas, and for developing countries, sometimes it's very difficult to get a unified position. The Westerns, they are much more disciplined. What is said in Washington, the others just support. And it's very easy for them to get a big number of votes when they voting for UN resolutions or any other important decisions. So that's why reformation of United Nations and Security Council, it's an important topic. It should be discussed, and Russia in support for discussion of these issues. But sorry to say, but we need time and we need wise decision in the case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sasanto, and also my dear brother, Mr. Ambassador. And especially thank you for using the correct word of Persian Gulf. I insist everywhere that this is not something that Iran insists on that. It is something that has the resolution of the United Nations. Any word, Gulf, Arabian Gulf, or something like that is wrong, and even the Donald Trump Gulf is wrong. So the only name for that region is the Persian Gulf, according to the United Nations. Thank you very much, Ambassador. And about what Professor Bambang just mentioned, I can tell first, you mentioned that world is worried about the war. I tell you, Professor, that world should be worried. We are living in a world with a jungle law. We are living in a world that one country goes to another country and kidnaps the president. How the world is not worried about that? We are living in a world that a country goes to another country and bombards the leader of another country and goes back. You know, we must be worried about this kind of new rules in the world that we call that jungle rule. What happens if tomorrow, God forbid, Indonesia or Malaysia or Brunei or I don't know, the Philippines has some problem with the United States? What happens? They want to come and just kidnap the president or kill the president and go. This is what the world must be worried about.
I'm not worried to Iran,
No,
but we are worried to Americans' behavior with
yes,
this.
yes.
So that's why we are support Iran to make such kind of defense from aggression US.
Yeah,
because
I
of
understand.
the,
I
thank you so
understand.
much.
I'm just telling that this war must happen to show the world that unipolar system does not work in the world anymore. The United States is not the president of the world, is not the boss of the world. They cannot decide as just execute anything that they want. It is the end of the era that they dictate to the countries that you should have what and you shouldn't have what. They are not in the position and they are not entitled to tell Iran you can have the nuclear program or you cannot. There are some international laws according to the IAEA and others. And in that law, you can see that the jungle law still is going on. Why? The Israel confesses that they have between 90 to 400 nuclear bombs. But Iran, according to the IAEA, several times had been mentioned that there is no nuclear program, the bombing program, and still they are attacking Iran because they are suspected. I tell you, they did not, I know that you know that, I am explaining for the other friends. I tell you, they did not attack Iran because they thought we are going to have atomic bomb in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Because if they thought that, they never dare to attack Iran. They just attacked Iran, they just attacked Iraq because they were sure that Iraq does not have mass destruction weapons. If they knew that, they would never dare to attack them. If they knew that Iran can make the bomb in 2 weeks, they would never dare to attack Iran. And you see what kind of the message they are giving to the world. The North Korea is living because they have atomic bomb. Iran leader, Iraq leader, Venezuela leader and others are being killed and kidnapped because they don't have atomic bomb. What kind of message they are giving to the world? It's a very dangerous message. And this is about the NPT and IAEA that just Professor correctly mentioned. I tell you that the world of the double standards also is going to be ended. Human rights is good for Indonesia, it's good for the United States, it's good for United Kingdom, but not good for Gaza, not good for Palestine. Why you don't make any kind of election in Palestine to see what do they like to have, what kind of government they like to have? Isn't it democracy? So another thing that is going to be changed after this war, I hope, is the double standards in the world. If no country has the right to have the atomic bomb, it must be for all, but not through the dictation of the United States, through the law and regulations of the international organizations that have been decided by the world community. Thank you.
Next question, please. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Good morning, everybody, and good morning. Thank you to Mr. Ambassador, the Excellency of Iran Embassy. First, I would like to express my condolences on the passing of Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khomeini and Iranian people due to this conflict. I have some questions. I saw in social media that nowadays Iran digital diplomacy is quite interesting. Like Iran official account usually kind of giving joking about Trump statement and anything. I think that's quite interesting, and we can see that nowadays digital diplomacy can be used as a strategy to win a conflict. Is this kind of Iranian strategy, or this is just how Iran tried to attract people in global world? That's the first question. And I have another question to Russian Federation Embassy, Mr. Sergei. Nowadays, Indonesia is currently joining BOP. And now, just a few days ago, Indonesia opened the airspace to US. Is it going to affect Indonesian and Russian relations? Just a few days ago, Prabowo was also visited to Russia. Will it affect the negotiation or the diplomacy regarding the energy or not, in your POV? And this is academic discussion, right? So I'm allowed to ask about this, right? And to Pak Ma'ruf, I think in our seminar before, you said that actually Iran can win this conflict, and how you see this, and will it change the international law and international system? Since if Iran winning the conflict right now, it will affect, like Mr. Sergei said before, in UNO is mostly dominated with Western country. If Iran can win this conflict, will it affect the UN itself? And of course, we can change the UNSC. How you see this as an academic? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Iran has already won the war. I'm not bragging. I tell you just because everybody knows that they came to Iran to defeat Iran in 2 or 3 days. And if they could not do that, and they beg for the negotiation and ceasefire, it means that Iran won the war. So this is the first that, of course, I am happy that you had one question for everybody. So I'm just going to take my share. About the digital diplomacy that you just mentioned for me, one of the key elements of the Iran victory was because Iran was in the right side in the eyes of the world. Almost everybody in the world believed that Iran is right and United States and Zionist regime of Israel are wrong. This is very important. In Indonesia, the latest survey shows that 83% of the Indonesian people are supporting Iran. And I tell you, many people, many Indonesian people come to me or send message to me and tell me that we are ready to go to Iran and fight for Iran. You know, it's not because Iran is Muslim. It's not because Iran is, I don't know what. It's because they believe that Iran is right. Unfortunately, most of the propaganda and most of the media belongs to the Zionist regime of Israel and their slave, Donald Epstein. Unfortunately, most of the media belongs to them. But why we won the social media? Because most of the population of the independent country believe that Iran is right, and they make this, you know, digital content. We don't have the technology, we don't have the people, we don't have the money, we don't have the media. You know, the big media belongs to the Zionist regime of Israel and their slaves. This content that you just saw, we did not make them. The people are making them. Indonesian people, Indonesian young generation, they are sending me several internet content that supports Iran. One student from Bandung has gone to the street by himself. I don't know him. Has gone to the street by himself and asked people, which one, United States or Iran? And prepared some kind of video and sent it for everybody. And I just saw that in the internet. They didn't send it for me as well. I find it somewhere. So this is what the independent people think about Iran, and they make the content. We are not doing that. We are not pursuing that. We are not encouraging that. We just see, and we just, like other people in the world, we are seeing. Because everybody knows that the Zionist regime of Israel was, you know, very keen to make this war, and they made the United States, I don't know, with the Epstein files or anything else, blackmailing their leaders of some countries to be in their sides. They did that, and because people know that, I appreciate, I thank all Indonesian young generation that they are making content for us. I went to the car-free day in Sudirman a few days ago. And I saw that the people that I really don't know, they have Iranian flag and walking in the street. I really don't know them. I didn't give them the flag. I don't know where they take the flag, because if I want to buy, I don't know where to buy the Iranian flag here. And thank you, Indonesia.
So you've got so many questions in one, but I will try to reply all of them. So BOP and issue of opening Indonesian airspace for foreign planes. Indonesia, the Republic of Indonesia, it's a sovereign country, and you can take any decision. And from our side, we respect your sovereign decision about becoming member of BOP or anything else. So according to my information, the issue of opening Indonesian airspace to American warplanes was discussed, but there are no final decision yet. But if you will, your government will allow the Americans to fly easily over your territory, well, I hope so. Maybe next day you will take same decision for Russian planes or Chinese. Because we are equal partners, and I believe so we can expect to have same conditions of partnership with Indonesia as other countries. But also you should understand that such decisions can have some very serious consequences. As it, by the way, we are witnessing Middle East and Persian Gulf, when countries with American bases, with American planes and military facilities are targets now. The third one, cooperation between the Russian Federation and the Republic of Indonesia in economic field, especially in energy, oil and gas field. Yes, well, it's Thursday, so 4 days ago on Monday, President Prabowo Subianto was in Moscow. By the way, it was his third trip to Russia in less than 1 year. June last year, December last year, so April 2026. But it means that we have a very strong and very intense political dialogue. We have a lot of, two leaders, Mr. Vladimir Putin and Prabowo Subianto, have a lot of things to discuss. And yes, I believe that oil and gas issues was one of the topical during these negotiations. I don't know what practical decision has been taken, but I'm just would like to remember that my president, Vladimir Putin, and Minister of Energy of the Russian Federation mentioned many times that Russia is a responsible and sustainable provider of oil and gas for the rest of the world, especially for friendly countries. And Indonesia is our long-term friends. So I hope we will have good cooperation in this field. Let's do our businesses, I don't know, Pertamina and some Russian companies to discuss how it will be done. But I'm pretty sure that if Indonesia is interested now, is interested in this cooperation, because previously, I can say to you that your state company Pertamina was afraid to have deals with Russia because of possibility of American sanctions or European sanctions, secondary sanctions. So now situation has changed, so maybe now Pertamina and other companies are more brave and are ready to cooperate with us. We are open for this. So let's see, I believe so maybe in coming weeks or even days we will have more information about practical aspects of this cooperation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tadi Mbak siapa? Ismi. Oke, pertanyaannya why the winner of this war will shape global order, kira-kira gitu ya. We have to remember that UN birthed on power. So there is two kind of justification. It's called theoretical legitimation. Only two, voluntary and power. So United Nations based on power. What is the power? The power is the winner of the war. The United Nations and also right of the veto based on power, not voluntary. Voluntary is acceptability. I still remember when I was in Tehran, there is two justification or legitimation. Let's call it mashru'iyat and makbuliyat. Your Excellency, sorry. First is mashru'iyat is legitimation, and second, voluntary, acceptability. Okay, this war is truth, but where we can get acceptability. The people power across the globe, like Your Excellency said, he didn't give the Iran flag, but why the people spontaneously support Iran? Does the people, the ordinary people, get the money from maybe Iran embassy? I don't think so. Yeah, it is come from the heart. So this war, yeah, according to me, Iran has a strong feeling. Jadi perangnya Iran itu dengan hati. This is the art of war. Jadi nggak dar-tidur ya. Jadi intinya adalah ketika when Iran will be winner, of course will influence global order. Just like United States and Soviet Union. Sorry to say. Soviet Union and United States as one alliance. Let's call it sekutu. Mengalahkan Hitler. Mengalahkan Mussolini. Mengalahkan Japan. So democracy beat totalitarianism. Yeah, but democracy itself based on power. Mungkin menyinggung pertanyaan Bapak tadi ya. So the UN chapter, UN's power based on not acceptability. If based on acceptability, of course, Palestine state will emerge since before 1948. Iran, after Second World War II, why United Nations give two regions to Palestine and also to the Jews? Why? How many people that come from across the globe, the Jewish people, and the majority is from Ashkenazi, Soviet Union, during Soviet Union, 60% come to Palestine. But the most important thing we have to ask, why the United States give the right of the Jews, which is not stay in Palestine land, they stay in German. The problem of the Hitler war, it is the Jews that live in German. Why Palestinian people have to responsible to accept two regions separate to, if I'm not mistaken, 58% for the Jews and 48% for Palestine. It is injustice, not acceptability. Oke, of course ya Mbak ya, jadi pemenang perang akan menentukan, akan mempengaruhi tata kelola global. Pasti itu. Dan yang kedua, the second one, Indonesia need spiritual geopolitik advisor. Kita punya BPIP, kita punya MPR zaman dulu. Tapi kita tidak pernah, not functional. BPIP tidak pernah menasihati bagaimana presiden harus memutuskan. Jadi seolah-olah independent policy based on presidential. Kira-kira gitu. For international relation study, according to Dugin, I know international relations from Dugin and also Professor Marandi. Two person has influenced me. And also Said Ali Khamenei. Said Ali Khamenei not only an old spiritual leader, but for me he is a, spiritual guidance for geopolitics. And what he said is true, 100% is true. You can verify. I will mention again that what is the relation between BUP and the sovereignty. Sovereignty, okay, each country always respect that human being as equal. But it doesn't mean that indicated equal to technology. Indonesia, for example. Okay, Indonesia Minister of Defense can maybe reject the request of Minister of War of the United States. But our Indonesian military capability cannot implement sovereignty in a term of technology. We don't have air defense. We don't have radar to counter F-16, to counter F-35. So sovereignty is not only a matter of human being, but always leverage of the technology, leverage of geopolitics. Just like Indonesia claim that Selat Malaka menentukan ya, determine 70% trading. But geographic heritage of Indonesia, it doesn't indicate Indonesia have leverage to geopolitics. Jadi ketika kita Indonesia itu punya Selat Malaka, Indonesia kaya raya, tapi tidak secara otomatis mempunyai leverage geopolitik. Nah, why we have to have a geopolitical leverage? Why? It's very important. It's all about a human resource. Jadi manusia-manusia Indonesia lah yang akan menentukan posisi geopolitiknya. Kira-kira begitu, dan berhubungan dengan Iran dan Rusia saya tidak akan menjawab. Tapi according to me, BBOP is a war plan. If Trump said about the peace, it's meaning war. If Trump said about the war, it meaning peace. So BOP is a platform to take Indonesia as Muslim country to be a part of US Israel aside again Iran. Sorry to say, it's very clear as the day. And also, why Iran will win? Number one, the creativity. I don't think, you can check in Twitter, in social media, when the artists of Iran making Lego narration, just like 2 videos I present, there is no counter narration of the West. Jadi tidak ada materi buat Amerika dan Israel, ya. There is no material to counter Lego narration untuk pembenaran perang. Jadi ketika orang berperang tanpa pembenaran, tanpa moral justification, tanpa if war launch, ya, lack of moral justification, lack of international law, it's meaning that ya sudah ini kira-kira itu kalah di depan lah. Nah, fortunately I think Iran has capability as ya mungkin global shot, have leverage, teknologi leverage with the opponent gitu. Jadi according to me, Islamic Republic of Iran have capability to fulfill multipolarity into the top of the potential, maybe 99% yeah, as a superpower. Not only leading of the, we can say that, of course, Russia, Federation, and China have capability to shoot F-35, but China and Russia have no opportunity to shoot F-35. Why? Because of nuclear power. That's because of Iran has no nuclear power. It is the opportunity to show, to shoot F-35. Jadi karena Iran itu bukan negara nuklir, justru punya kesempatan untuk bisa menembak F-35. Kalau negara nuklir, ya tidak punya kesempatan. Kenapa? Cina dan Rusia, ya sama Amerika, sama negara nuklir tidak akan berperang secara head to head, kira-kira begitu. Jadi jawaban saya gitu, terima kasih.
We'll open last one questions from our undergraduate students. I think this one, the one with the bony hands. Can you stand up, this one? Thank you very much.
All right, sorry, testing, okay. Thank you, first of all, for the opportunity to ask. My name is Ardra Giswamanu. I'm currently studying International Relations, batch 2024 here in UPN Veteran, Jakarta. Now, my question is directed to His Excellency Sergei Gennadievich and His Excellency Mohammad Boroujerdi. Now, yesterday I attended the FPCI Middle Powers Conference. Now, there was a strong consensus that, middle power in the global south are striving for what we call multi-alignment to preserve their strategic autonomy and avoid falling into rigid geopolitical blocks. Now, I know that in today's theme focuses on the future of a multipolar world, a structural shift that both Russia and Iran are actively leading currently. Now, in the context, when I see stuff like this, I always focus on the solution and what can we do actively as middle powers countries to solve this. Now, in the context of resolving this conflict, how do your respective governments view the diplomatic role of middle powers like Indonesia itself in a truly multipolar world? Can middle powers actually genuinely act as independent mediators, or will the structural pressure to align with larger power centers ultimately remains inevitable? Now, yes, that was my question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Adra. In modern world, there are sometimes arise some different perceptions, like middle power, I don't know, some other kinds of self-nominations for different countries. It's I believe that we have about 200 member states in the UN, and all of them are equal. Yes, it could be large countries or countries with big population, like Indonesia, for example. There are small countries like your neighbor Singapore, just like a small red spot on the map. But every country has its voice. Every country, through participation in the UN, in different region or multilateral organizations, has possibility to influence and to participate in the international activities and to act and say something, even in order to solve regional conflicts or some hotspots in the global situation. That's why I believe so. Everyone could do something if they want and if they are brave enough. We have a lot of different multilateral organizations and tools for this. And I believe so when it comes to Indonesia, taking into consideration that this is really, it's a big country with numerous populations, with big economic potential. This is a member not only of UN, not only of ASEAN, but also member of G20, of BRICS, and some other important organizations. So it's possible for Indonesia, and also, by the way, it's also important player in Muslim world. And I believe so Indonesia and Indonesian diplomacy can do something, maybe propose some initiatives or participate in negotiations to solve crisis in Middle East or around Persian Gulf. But it should be just maybe some specific ideas, not just we would like to be mediator or we would like to play some role. Please give some receipts, give some ideas, concrete ideas about this field. And I believe so if, for example, I don't know how you assess Pakistan. Is it middle power or what? But Pakistan and Prime Minister of Pakistan proposed to be a place for bilateral talks between Iran and the US. So this is very practical activities. So maybe next time, I don't know, Ambassador Boroujerdi agree or not, maybe Jakarta will be a place of next round of talks. So everything is possible, but do not ask questions, do not sit comfortably in your chairs. Please do something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I think what His Excellency Ambassador, my dear friend, told is enough for that question. Just to complete, I say that, as you know, there are two kinds of neutralism: active neutralism and passive neutralism. You know, passive neutralism is not neutralism at all. In the current situation, any country that is passive neutralism is helping the war makers to be more encouraged in their war. I think if we are actively neutral, like what Pakistan is doing, we must think of some kind of coalition for peace. Middle powers, you told that what is the solution for this situation. I tell you, there are three just scenario. First, we make a deal and there is a peace or something. Secondly, the situation stays in this situation, the position of ceasefire. And thirdly, the war starts again. Which one do you think will happen? I tell you, in all these scenarios, we still have the Zionist regime of Israel with this crazy idea that this part of the land has been given to the Zionists 4,000 years ago by the God, and they must fight until they occupy all this land that now is content of the several countries. So the Zionist regime of Israel has attacked all the neighbors. You cannot name one of the neighbors that Israel did not attack. And has started 23 big wars in the region. So what we are going to do with that? Supposedly, we are going to have some kind of peace agreement with the United States right now in Islamabad or any other places. What we are going to go with the Israel, that this is the second part of the idea. And the second principle of the Zionism is the only human that has been created by God are the Jews. And the rest of the people are the animals that must serve the Jews. So, God forbid, even they finish and occupy all the Palestine and all this land from Nile in Egypt to Furat in Iraq, after that they are going to try to nominate the rest of the world, what they are doing in the United States, to make the rest of the world for their slaves. So if we don't do that, if we don't do anything, it means that we are encouraging them to go for that. But doing does not mean making war. Doing means the active neutral countries must come together for a coalition for peace. If it happens, nobody in the world, including the United States, does not dare to attack to other countries because the middle powers are still there and they have the coalition for peace. Maybe it's too ideal to happen in the world, but what is the reality of the world right now? The realism says we will never witness any kind of peace until we have a wild animal like the Zionist regime of Israel there, that it attacks whenever they think that they have they are strength enough. They stop attacking, they accept any kind of ceasefire when they do not think they are strength enough to attack the others. See, they are not committed to any kind of agreement, any kind of ceasefire. They already have the ceasefire in Gaza, but they are still attacking them. They have ceasefire with Lebanon, they are still attacking them. From Syria, even one bullet did not shoot to the occupied land of Palestine. But they are still attacking Syria. And when they finish, they are attacking the rest. I told to one of my friend ambassadors here, previous ambassador of Palestine, Dr. Zaida Shon. I told him, Doctor, don't think if they finish in Gaza, they will let you have your government in West Bank. And some people ask me why you are opposed to the two-state policy. I always tell them we are not opposing it. The Zionist regime of Israel opposed that. And because one side of this kind of policy is Israel, so it will never happen. Because they don't believe in that. So that's the general idea about the middle powers and the coalition for peace. Thank you very much.
Okay, I will just add, maybe 1 minute. I think international relation right now, based on the winner of the war, not according to me, according to Dukit, international relation study that address every university across the globe is based on Pentagon. If you agree, or if you not agree, it doesn't matter. So during transition unipolarity to multipolarity, we have to develop new curriculum of international relation if we want to change and influence a genuine international relation and also Indonesian policy. Because it comes from the background of our knowledge, okay? The theory of international relation. Okay, we know that John Mearsheimer, but lately, not the start of the study. We have to know more the reference from the Tehran philosopher, from the Russian philosopher, etc., etc. And second one, we have to develop, for Indonesia, I call it geopolitics based on faith. Faith is kind of personal belief, but in geopolitics we never touch that term. If we're talking about faith, we are in praying. Jadi sesuatu yang sifatnya iman, belief, itu kita letakkan di masjid. If we are talking about geopolitics, we have to refer to the Western reference. That's make, we get a trouble to, sometimes we don't have enough premise to make a solid conclusion. So geopolitics based on faith is very important. It's implemented by Iran right now. And if we want to develop Indonesian power, number one, we have to develop military power. Dimanapun, everywhere, every countries, you or we and me, myself, we have a great power. We are close to the superpower. We are in middle power. It is just category of term in a social science and political science. But the most important thing is philosophical background of international relations studies. So number one, if we want to strengthen Indonesia, we have to develop military power. Genuine from the people of Indonesia, not account on the foreign security, just like in Gulf State. Number two, food. Just like Mr. Prabowo addressed, security food is good, and I support it. And third is Indonesia government must be loved by the people, because the supporting of the people is very important to the legitimation of the power. I think it's just a little bit of information. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellencies and Mr. Matter, for your answers. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the final part of our session today. I'm just going to have a short summary of what we have concluded over these past minutes. So apparently we are in a commitment, in a shared commitment of to always denounce the effort of colonialism and the Western imperialism. And this also pointing out of how this last year, not even a few years, this last year, this past 2026, of how the assertiveness of the Western cronies ultimately have been spanning all across the globe, from the Venezuelans into the Persian Gulf, from Europe into the Taiwan Sea. What we are trying to have is try to re-prompt our basic knowledge, how to see the world, how to see whether this level of antagonist or protagonist has been the universal truth after all. We can also see the rise of middle power. We need to be more progressive and revoke all of this understanding, because remember, the idea of multipolarity means that we are going to left with a single basic truth of universal rights. We want to move forward to an idea of the world where universal value will be compromised, but without any authoritarian states above us all. So, thank you again for the presence, Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi from the Republic of Iran, and ultimately for Mr. Ambassador Sergei as the representative of Russian Federations.
I propose to international relation to invitation to the ambassador to give like a lecture every semester is good.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Usually ambassador just only formal speech. If we're talking discussion like this, it's very genuine discussion, I think.
I'm strongly agree to that, and hopefully we can create these connections of, to diversify our knowledge, theoretical background, informations and understanding, especially putting efforts to move away from the status quo of Western-based informations. So thank you so much again. We are very appreciative for your presence. And I'm going to return the stage back to the MC. Thank you so much.
Again, our deepest gratitude for His Excellency Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi, His Excellency Mr. Sergei Tolshanov, and Mr. Ma'ruf, Ph.D. for the inspiring and thought-provoking discussion. Ambassadors, please remain where you are, as we will give you certificates from the lecture teams and the committee. We invite Mr. Musa Maliki, Ph.D., Dr. Asep Kamaluddin to come forward to give the certificates. The first certificate will be given by Dr. Asep Kamaluddin to His Excellency Mr. Mohammad Boroujerdi, Ambassadors of Iran to Indonesia. And the second certificate will be given by Mr. Musa Maliki, Ph.D. to His Excellency Mr. Sergei Gennadievich of Russia. And the third certificate given by Vice Dean Mr. Musa Maliki, Ph.D. to Mr. Ma'ruf, Ph.D. Again, thank you so much. Please give a big round of applause to our ambassadors and speakers. Thank you so much, ambassadors and speakers. We wish you a pleasant day ahead and a safe journey. Thank you.